Once again, our reminders. First of all, please silence all cell phones. Flash photography is not permitted. Video recording of press conferences on cell phones or cameras is prohibited. If you wish to access video, you may download the video through the NCAA Digital Media Hub. If you're joining us on Zoom, please use your raise hand function for questions. We'll address all questions in the room first and then get to Zoom as time allows. And please state your name and affiliation each time you ask a question. Joining us now is Arkansas head coach John Calipari. Coach, we'll begin with your opening statement and then we'll open the room for questions.
Excited we're still playing. And we're playing a really good team, by the way. High Point is really good. Well, I've watched tape, and I'm like, wow.
Start right up here.
Jackson Fuller, Southwest Times Record. Two-parter, if you'll let me, Cal. High Point's guards, obviously, kind of the head of the snake. How important is tomorrow's defense from Acuff and Thomas, and how have you seen Malik grow on that end of the floor this year?
Well, both of them have really grown. And it's funny, two teams are going to play really fast. Their team and our team. They shoot a few more threes than we do. They're really aggressive. They'll attack the glass. They offensive rebound. They get so many 50-50 balls and 50-50 rebounds. So it's not only going to be tough on our guards, we're going to have to get long rebounds, and bigs are going to have to know that you can't just walk under when they're shooting threes, because the only one you're going to rebound is the one that goes through.
Jordan Mendoza, USA Today. Coach, there's been a lot made about, the mid-majors frustrations with scheduling, and, it's been with Miami and High Point, Coach saying it yesterday. I'm curious from your perspective, do you understand, do you kind of sympathize with the frustrations mid-majors have when it comes to scheduling, and what is your approach when building out the schedule? Are you prioritizing those high matchups against net rankings, and also, how are you factoring it when it comes to playing those top mid-major teams as well, too?
And friends. I'll schedule if they tell me we really need this game. How old are you? All right, so you don't know my time at UMass where we had to play everybody on the road and 2-for-1s. You ever hear of a 2-for-1? We played Oklahoma 2-for-1. Do you want me to tell you the story? We go to Oklahoma. You can't go there twice because Billy Tubbs wouldn't return the game. He'd say, I'm not returning. So you made him come to you first, and I had to go back to Oklahoma twice. We go to Oklahoma. The game's a pretty good game. They win the game. He walks down, Billy Tubbs, and says, you know what's great about this game? What? You got to come back here again next year. That's what he said to me. Next year, we hit a buzzer that went in. And I ran down to him and said, Billy, where's my check? Because they had to pay us to do the second game. We did anything we could to schedule games, to get home games. I've been there. It's hard. And no one wants to play a team that they think are going to be really good, and they're not going to do it on the road. You're just not going to go on the road, and that's why I was doing 2-for-1s. I got to say this about High Point. First of all, for them to have 31 wins and still playing, do you know how good they must be and well coached? Coach Clement, the job he's doing. The second thing, it proves my point that coaches win games, administrations win championships. They commit to it. Now, the coach has to be a good steward and has to make good decisions. But he can't do any of that if there's not enough support. Their president, I got to meet this guy sometime. I mean, he goes and builds a 5-star restaurant that the students go to once a week. What? I'm going to go to school there. They have an airline where they go and show you how to sit in an airplane and talk to a CEO who you happen to be next to. All the things they do are student-driven, which means their basketball players and their students are confident because someone really cares. And that's why I always come back to, it's the name on the back. That's what you should be worried about. Because right now, because High Point has been that way, look at all that's happening for their university. Everybody's talking about it. So my hat's off. Yes, coaching and doing what he's doing, but that AD and president committing so that we could compete for championships. And I got to tell you, Chancellor Robinson's the same way on our campus. He's student first. He's about students. Our AD has committed to us. Hunter Yurachek has done what we need to have done. Then I got to be a good steward and make good decisions with what we've been given. But we've been given. If we weren't given, you don't have to make decisions. You're just holding on and hope you can win enough to survive. Administrations win championships. Coaches can win ball games. Is that okay that I did that? What did you ask me anyway? I'm sorry, go ahead.
James Burchin, the Basketball Academy. Coach, yesterday you talked about if you guys get 20 assists, you're pretty much guaranteed to win the game. Is there anything else you look for analytically, like paint touches, ball reversals, anything in that realm to help you guys have success on the floor?
Well, we're a lane touch team. You'd like to shoot a lot of free throws. You want to make more than they shoot, but this team drives as much as we do. You know, the assist means we're creating for each other. What drives me nuts is when they're all back there and someone wants to start bouncing it. They're there. Move that ball and let's play. And I usually tell them, and I don't care what you do at the end of it. Just move the ball, cut hard, and then play. So I think both teams now are low turnovers. That means your guards are making good decisions. Here's what I mean by that. I'm not going to throw you the ball when you're going to turn it over because I put you in a bad place. I'm not throwing you the ball because I can't shoot it, so here, you take it. Well, then you're going to lead to turnovers. And, you know, we have good guards, 2 and 3, even 4 to 1 assist to turnover ratio. So, and they do too. This is going to be two teams that, because of how we both do things, both universities, they're feeling in a certain way. People care, we know what it means, and all those things. Fast teams that don't turn it over should be a crazy game. I just hope we make some more baskets than they make.
Bill Oram with the Oregonian. Back to High Point real quick. You know, the best way for you to get to see all that cool stuff you're talking about would be to schedule a non-conference game there.
How about I just go down there? I'll walk around campus. It's like people wanting me to play in Hawaii. Well, I'll take a vacation. Why am I taking my team? Well, you want to go. Well, then go on vacation with me. No, all my friends down there, I've not been on the campus. They tell me that campus is ridiculous. Like what they've done and how they've done it. Look, anytime someone tells me student first, players first, you know that's going to touch me. That moves me. And so, yeah, but no, I'm not going there to play.
Coach Jerry Brewer with The Athletic. With Darius, I understand that the process to get him to change from a high scorer in high school to a true lead guard kind of started right as he committed. Like what?
How did you know that?
I talked to Coach Chin.
Okay.
What's it been like to kind of see his evolution, and does it surprise you how quickly he's not only picked up on that, like the desire to do that, but he has like a really good feel both on and off the ball?
Most of the guards that I've coached understand that I've got to teach you on the ball, off the ball. Because if you're playing with Shea, you're going to be off the ball. He's going to be on the ball. If you're playing with Jamal, you're going to be off the ball. He's going to be on the ball. Maybe with Devin, you could be on the ball, but he's going to do both. So with him, having his hands on the ball, especially late, you try to trap him, you may not be able to, and if you do, he's going to make a good decision and maybe make it an easy play for us. That aside, the basketball wasn't that. It was all the other stuff. Learning to lead. When you lead, you're doing something for everybody else. You're not just scoring for yourself, you're scoring for us. And if someone has it going, you lead and get them shots. He's done a fabulous job of that. His body language, wow. You don't even see anything right now. You watch him play and you say his demeanor is like that. Well, that's the best players that I've coached. Malik Thomas is kind of the same. You don't really see. Both of them, if I get on them and I got you, but they're not going to waver their confidence. I don't care how they're playing. They both have otherworldly confidence in themselves. And that's why I said they could run for president. They're so confident in themselves, they could do fine.
Tyler Richardson, ESPN Arkansas. Cal, you joke with Jared Greenberg after the game. They'll probably put us at a late night game, which you guys are playing tomorrow night at 9:45 Eastern, 6:45 local. How does y'all's prep change from playing a game around lunch to playing a game tomorrow night?
We'll have a shoot around. Every board is the same. Every meeting the night before the game is the same. What we talk about is the same. The only thing that's different is you don't do a shoot around for an early game. We won't do a shoot around here for that game because they only give you 20 minutes. So it's not worth traveling and doing it. But we'll do a shoot around. That's it. I want these games to be so similar, just like I said in the tournament, the SEC tournament. These games are all the same as what we've played all year. So just, I don't want them to think they're any different. Let's go play our best. If that's not good enough, we've had a hell of a year. If it is good enough, let's move on. But be at our best. What do we do? Be who we are. We can't. High Point's going to play the way they play. We're going to play the way we play.
Down here.
Jordan Mendoza, USA Today. One of the things that made High Point so successful yesterday was they were shooting threes at will and they were pulling up from them at will. How do you try to game plan defend that, knowing that they're pretty much ready to pull up from ranges that you only really see like Steph shoot?
We have some teams in our league that play that way. The one thing about the regular season, you are going to face zone, pressing teams, man teams that sag, man teams that deny everything. Offensively, teams play a little slower. You're going to be playing teams that get it in quick and fly. You're going to be playing teams that are trying to shoot 53s. So we faced it all. And now it's, all right, what exactly are we going to do? And in most cases, you got to, all right, you can't stop everything. Where are you making your stand? What is it that they do that you're saying, all right, let's make sure that this isn't it? They made shots. They came in the other game. I've watched other games that have done the same thing. Just come down and launch. Got to rebound misses. You got to make them pay when they miss.
James Pritchett, the Basketball Academy. Coach, you talked about all the amazing guards that you've coached. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of guards that you've coached?
I'd make a lot of people mad. I've had 13 players that have been all-stars. I've had 2 MVPs in the NBA. So I'm going to, which one of those do you pick? So I don't ever do it. And Darius and Malik are different than any of the other guys I coached. I've had faster players. I've had more athletic guards. The skill, pretty, more pure point. They're all different. You just want them all to really succeed. You want them to be prepared when they step into that realm that they're ready for it. They get an idea.
Jackson Fuller, Southwest Times Record. I believe coming into the tournament, you guys were second in the country in dunks, and last game, all the alley-oops. Is obviously great athleticism helps with that, but is that something you work on in practice? Is it natural chemistry? What's the balance between just the success this team's had in that aspect of the game?
We don't throw a bounce pass when you can throw it at the rim. Boop. You threw a bounce pass. Everybody on the baseline were running. You demand a lot, you get a lot. You accept mediocrity, you're going to get it every time. We throw the ball at the rim. We're not throwing bounce passes. Now, we may throw to a guard out on the court on a bounce pass, backdoor cut, and we're playing versus zone. You know, I think we're rated number 2 versus zone in the country because we can do both. We can shoot a 3 or throw a lob. So, yes, we work on it. There's some different actions we do versus man when we're driving to put people in those positions, but you know, we're not the only one. I've watched them. They throw lobs. They have their big guys.
Nick,
Coach, after yesterday's
name
game.
and affiliation,
sorry.
please.
Nick Strang with the Oregonian. Coach, after yesterday's game, you said, I'll be walking the streets of Portland tonight enjoying this, and I've got 3 tapes that I got to watch of High Point. I just wanted to know if you made good on that and actually went out and enjoyed the city a little bit, and what does Coach Cal do to unwind after a game like that?
You know, I did watch a couple tapes last night, watched one this morning. Did the stuff that I normally do in the day. Did walk the city a little bit, you know, but right now I'm pretty locked into this group. And, you know, we had a staff meeting and met with them, the players briefly, try to leave them alone. You know, sometimes they look at me like I'm the principal, so I got to get away from them so they can let their hair down and be who they are. I was just on the phone with Tom Izzo and Mark Few, the 3 of us, and both Darius and Trevin heard me laughing. They said, we never heard you laugh that way. Yeah, I don't always talk to these guys. I'm always around you guys. What am I going to laugh about? We don't have anything in common. But no, it's, I've enjoyed Portland. I always have. I mean, Terrence Jones, when we went and recruited him, you know, I just saw his picture on the wall playing against Portland for Houston. I just saw it out there. I was laughing. I said, there's Terrence right there. But no, this is, it's a neat city. We had some dinners out, you know, and it's been good.
Grayson Akaza, KTHV. 2 kind of questions play into each other. Any update on Nick Pringle's health? And, you know, High Point shoots a lot of free throws. Anything you're telling guys before the game about foul trouble, potentially shorthanded without Carter Knox or Pringle?
First of all, I don't know about Nick. Second of all, what I basically say is don't foul. We don't have enough guys. Don't foul. A layup or a basket is not a touchdown. We'll score in 8 seconds. So don't foul. If you know you made a mistake, let him go. Give him the basket. I don't know if that makes sense, but when you're playing 5 and 6 guys,
Jack Magruder, John, from Field Level Media. Are there inherent dangers in playing a 12th seed that's, you know, probably feeling good about themselves and ready to keep rolling?
probably shouldn't be a 5 seed. When you watched them play, they were probably better than that. And what happens is you don't screw them by giving them that seed. You screw the team they're playing. That's who you screw. And I've been there where they had us as an 8, and I said, well, you just screwed the 1, and we ended up beating the 1 who was 34-0, and we ended up beating them because, and the guy was mad, but I said, we shouldn't have been an 8. So I've been in those situations. No, when you're just, look, this is about trying to live another day. So it doesn't matter who you're playing, whether the game is close, whether you have a lead. It's about just survive another day, and let's see what we can do.
This will be our last question.
Yeah, that Wichita State, Ty Richardson, ESPN Arkansas, that was the Wichita State team with Braun Baker and Clancy.
How did you know that's who I
remember
was?
that because I was at that game. Cal, you talk about that team that went to the national championship. Does this team this year remind you of any team in whether in Lexington or UMass or Memphis? Do you see any similarities from just the composition of this squad?
Maybe a little bit like my Memphis team with Derrick Rose, Chris Douglas, Antonio Anderson, Robert Dozier, Joey Dorsey. You know, we had Sean, we had a couple other guys. That team, kind of long, played through your guards, had some skill. I would say a little bit like that team. That team was fast too now. And so, but I hate to, like again, I've done this a few years, and I hate to mention guys and then not mention other guys. But no, every team is unique. And someone asked me today about how is it now coaching a new team every year? What are you talking about? I've done it for 20 years. Every team, I had everybody leave, and you figure out what they need. Not you got to play this way. This is I'm analytically telling you. I've had guys that need to be mid-level games. They're not great three-point shooters. You can't always go to the rim. Pull up. I'm fine with that. So you play different. You still play fast. How fast? As fast as you can play without turning it over all the time. How many threes do you shoot? Well, it depends. Can you make them? It ain't just shooting them. I need makers, not shooters. And then how do you defend? It depends on who we have. So that team would be the one I would say off the top of my head. But I've had a lot of really good teams because I've had a lot of really good players. And those players all came together and they all sacrificed for their teammates. They could have done more, shot more, done more. I think somebody just told me I had 12 players that scored 50 points in an NBA game. 12. That means I held them all back. Bam just had 83. What? And so that means you have really good guys that come together, play for each other, accept each other for what they are, and do it for each other. So I've been blessed, folks. Parents have entrusted me with their children. I've been blessed. Thank you.
Coach, thank you very much for your time.